okay? I would like to be, I'm going to try to be the Sharp Sid Nice in this one, Fox. Okay, because this is standard model for a lot of other things going on. I hear it coming in, the bells are banging, coming in, take it.
What's up, everybody? This is Oscar Alcala,
Terracotta Army, man.
cinematographer for Sammy's Camera, and today
kind of loosely, kind of could be out there. It might be somewhere
the
in
Canon
that
R6
direction.
is a strong and versatile full-frame.
President Biden playing the blame game after yet another brutal new poll. He's now pointing the finger at worried Americans and says they could just be confused about the job he is really doing. The president
there is that. That is a true point. With that said, there are things about this play that would have the issue on calculus as a whole across the board, which gives us a limited function across time. If you look at it from now, could it be worse? What was the drop on this thing? How do you turn it off if they know, Jimmy? You know, if I'm literally talking to you, you don't listen to this because I have to pull an 888 to figure out a photon line for how the guys have to look at this for X, and then just repair it anyways. You know, it's just a 1,000-pill Bernoulli's equation on the face equation about what you would want calculus to be into that. Now, is that any part of the subject matter talking about fucking fairy tale land on the T30? The builds on actual calculus, checking those design chains and rails to rabbit population, pursuit algorithms in the pipes. You stay behind that chains and rail guy. Like, I don't mean to be like that. You gotta eat a sandwich and be out the fucking...
His two big promises were to get COVID behind us and to get rid of Donald Trump. COVID's not behind us and Donald Trump's still lurking. It's not his fault.
So, Jesse, I'm confused by this. You're all just confused.
Well, you bump into the wall like Roomba because every once in a while, you know what I know about the limited entropy of Ted? He comes down on, and he's up there, and he's down here, then he goes up there.
Last time I did that. Do you know how small the President of the United States has to
That's the reality, though. I mean, you frame it out. That's walk-in, Master Mason walkthroughs, I did them specifically. You can have them all loaded, unloaded, set up any configuration of combinations, and it might be sitting like that day. Exit over. Jump. Because there would be a way to look at it. You just, okay, first things first, the biggest bay is low down, that's LiDAR, look down in here, hit the thing. Walk in the building is standard model. Locker room, whiteboard, anything on the board for me, photon coming in, 14s on the board. That's it. Absolutely, and you have to be careful with that dual diagnosis line given the college experiment and the prison experiment of what you need to do for the books. And that would be the books. And then you have that in college. You don't need anything. Teach them, do it. Where do you think it's going to fucking come from? In the labor numbers of why those are convergent.
This problem among many. He says, I only care about the access I'm getting. I don't care about putting on a good broadcast. He's worried about not getting exclusive with Joe Biden.
For us to continue on. Like I said, if this was a relationship and a husbandry, for us as a business to be able to do something, we have to be able to agree on what the contract is. We have to say the Horizon product on the lady with the case, the photon coming up, is 42id over what the calculus of an overall model has to sub to a singularity. So great. Fantastic. Jesse, fantastic.
That's a straight news reporter talking. That's a straight news guy in a straight news Sunday show on a broadcast.
Well, then you get out there with the drone on LiDAR. You know, it's like I could drop bombs with a Nimbus out here all day. You know, plink them out like they're Sharps violation, harassment case, not being legitimate to it. Subject matter gut field plays the game. We dress it up as we want with Bernoulli. You know, and I'd say that's the card that comes in. It's, you know, when you put 5 in the room and there's just competition. Oh, too much out of the operator, not enough on the operator. I like to play infrastructure, but nothing.
The wages have gone up, and actually, it's all this and that and the other thing.
And then it's self-Putin. You'd still look at it across the board. I don't want shit outside the Kremlin. You don't want shit outside the Kremlin. All you need to understand that's just an imaginary number. Okay, but inside of there, you could say for cigarettes. I heard one of them say it like bump it up. You're on level 6 million of the bet day. You know, and dollars could work that way. It's an algorithm of who you are on the subscription and putting money in the pot and playing the fucking card and nobody fucking each other over. Okay. And then there's that mountain, right? I'll share out because one of the guys bought in, you know, but you buy in the company because you know it's going to go that way or it's not going to go that way. What fluffs off is going to be, you know, that's retirement safety stuff, and it's good a job to manage that mountain. There are maybe some billy goats the way you want to play it, maybe some bear fucking hunting around on those local slopes. And who's pounding on it? You know, obviously stealing from Fed. Obviously, these are Fed bills on things that we had negotiations in the Senate about if the name become the piece of the fucking program inside of what their task is and what they would do. High probability, the only other way to do it is secondary protocol, taking the military in, teaching the National Guard on like fixed pins, secondary protocol.
There is no doubt that COVID remains
Armageddon.
omnipresent in how our economy and trading markets are reacting to things, whether we like it or not. The truth is, the market was down today. If you look at the analysis, they say it's the
so I got to see that player. You know, questions have answers. You're not allowed to let them pass. Yeah, I'll fix you. You know, the entropy outside the door says, you know, in the end of it, there's Titans, there's standard models. You can play in the operator, and if you, me, and Rome still all playing this game, and it hits like it, why?
Wages are down almost 3% this year.
Being an animal, banging it out, fucking boss, on the bang, motherfucker.
They will never ever do anything to fight it. What's important is their agenda and their worldview. Their worldview is we govern.
Would you get a big one if you ever go to the office? Me, I'll starve in the field. You don't get it.
And their agenda
you don't get it all starving in the field. And well, Your Honor, to the sheriff.
Because they know it will end up
like you can't really just walk in there and think about how that would demograph across the board if you can't handle it on your own anyways, you know, and there's some big ones that are doing all this together at the same time, and well, it's closed off cult, and then you, like I said, you circle it in, you pin it in, you get the deets on the wave going, because vote NXI, the only thing that fucks us is really that something became this whole fucked up program, who's sitting where at the desk and whether you like it or not, because you're presidents and world leaders, you're gonna fucking sit every goddamn day in that office. So we better figure out who the fuck can actually handle that kind of reactor core in the House.
Just one example. Biden stopped federal aid to new fossil fuel projects overseas 3 days ago.
Saudis still in the same way. You know, we make our own Bear Mountain for the SCP. I heard one of them popping in there. The Big Bear 05 pops up inside of there because after the Shadow Problem, the Stone Mill comes down. Well, I give it to the other guys too. Like I said, they're standing up. Derek, Matt, right there. Especially when new Sam comes around. He's a kid. I'm me in there, just doing that, trying to not do any of that.
So difficult to do this show sometimes because when you serve up a line, Dana, that says every week Joe finds a new bottom, and I can't make a joke really hard.
Nancy, I got to take you in there. That's what it is. And like I said, down there, you're going to watch me do it, and you're going to watch me know things. You're going to say they're off, but it's there. Obviously, the inverted is there for the mills and the class, the math class, the 90-day course, and I could go all day. Don't get me wrong.
The reason why Joe's not doing well is because Trump's still around, and why can't he be like a good Republican, pass away like Bob Dole?